Hey everyone, happy Sunday afternoon. This is my daughter Jenna,
Hello.
and we are dressed in our Sunday clothes. We had church this morning and actually have another service tonight with a little Advent communion. And so we kept our church clothes on, and I wanted to show you this scarf that I made. It's actually old, and I don't even remember what my yarn was, but it is so beautiful. Here, you hold the scarf while I take my coat off. I made it. I saw one like that in a store and I brought it to my local yarn shop. Um, and I showed them the picture that I had taken of it. And she found yarn for me that she thought would work. And I bought the yarn from her, and it's a tube. And all I did was different. There was no pattern. I just knit in a tube and there was no pattern. I just changed colors and I love it. And it's so soft and wonderful.
I'm also wearing one of something mom knitted, but you probably have seen it on the channel. But this is a green sweater with pockets. And we just saw the Wicked movie the other day. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it.
Oh, so
But I
good.
needed something green to wear, so I wore this to the movie theater and I loved it.
So she decided to wear that today to rep her mom. All right. So I brought Jenna here to do a couple yoga poses for us to help us with. She's seen me knitting constantly. I like all the time. And I
During
actually,
Wicked, she was knitting.
well, but I forgot. It's so funny. I had a couple of funny comments from you guys. I forgot my light at home, which is probably a good thing because that would have been slightly obnoxious and I would have gotten in trouble with my daughter and our friends. But I knit for the previews. Once the movie started, there was no way I could have knit through that. There really wasn't. It was so good. It kind of had you on the edge of your seat. There was absolutely no way. I saw someone talk about knitting through it, and I was so impressed because even if I didn't have to look at my knitting, I still couldn't knit and watch that movie. It was just that good. Anyway, so I have finished one of the socks. So, yay, me. I'm so happy about this because you guys saw my first set gone bad. I had to frog it. I had to start over again. This is for my daughter Maddie, her younger sister, and I got to just show her this, and she's very excited. So and I'm almost done with the second. I just have to finish up and do the toe. I'm very, very close to to doing the toe on this one. So I might finish this yet tonight. I probably will actually. So that's all I have different from the episode I just filmed a couple days ago. And actually, this will be episode, where are we now? This will be episode number 17. So, episode 16, I showed a couple other projects that I'm working on. But why I wanted to podcast with Jenna here is she is also a certified yoga instructor. So, her older sister, Katie, that I can't remember what episode you met Katie on when I was in England, she did some hand exercises for you guys. And Jenna and I were talking. I said, I want to get you on the podcast too. And I said, I had promised everybody we could do some neck and maybe shoulder things because we tend to have a posture like this when we're knitting all the time. And you always hear me say when you're sitting and you're knitting to make sure your shoulders are up, back, and down, and you're working on your posture because you don't want to be like this and then really worry about that as you get older. So I asked Jenna to just do a couple exercises with us today that could help you with and preferably prevent any issues. But if you're having some issues, you could try these as well. But Jenna can recommend, how often to do them to maybe prevent.
hmm I'll say too before we jump in, I work in the corporate America kind of world as well as being a yoga teacher, and I facilitate mindful sessions for everybody every Friday. For the whole firm, everyone's invited, but it's really important to kind of take breaks throughout your day. I recommend doing this at least once a day, if not multiple times, just so that you're not sitting forever. It's really good to kind of get up. It's also good for your mind as much as it is for your body to just kind of get up and change your atmosphere a little bit and change what you're doing. Because people, I don't know who said this, but someone said sitting's the new smoking. So it's just good to kind of get yourself up and doing these things. And it helps your creativity, which is ultimately, I think, one of the most important ones. So, want to jump in?
Yeah, let's jump
Okay.
in.
You can do these standing. I'm just gonna stay sitting because you can see everything. But we'll start off with some spinal mobility movement. So go ahead and place two palms on your thighs and actually lower them to your knees so that your arms are lengthened. Take a deep breath in and begin to raise your chin towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest, round your spine deeply and shine the eyes of your elbows up, so the inside of your elbows. Inhale, draw your elbows slightly back. Feel your arms start to engage, raise your chin. Exhale, round your spine, bring your chin to your chest, crown of your head faces directly in front of you, eyes of elbows shine up. Take a couple more like that. Inhale, draw your chin upward, slight arch in your spine, ribs out. Exhale, round your spine. You just continue to do these little opening and rounding poses. This is one thing I always cue at any class I teach or any mindful session I facilitate. Targeting the spine is one of the most important things to start off any sort of session. And it helps us to also ground through our sits bones and also ground through our feet. So really feel your feet ground into the floor wherever you are. And feel energy activate through all the corners of your feet, through your sits bones. And take a couple more. And just start to feel a sense of opening manifest energetically, but also physically. And then next time you're up, go ahead and take a pause there. Gently bring your head back to neutral and go ahead and slide your hands up to your thighs. Take a deep breath in, raise your shoulders up to your ears, scrunch up nice and tight, and then exhale, roll your shoulders down into your spine. Two more just like that. Inhale, raise your shoulders up, scrunch up tight. Exhale, roll your shoulders down into your spine. One more time. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Good. And then feel this renewed sense of posture through your body. And on your next exhale, go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, drop your head back, lift your chin up. Exhale, lower your chin to your chest. The only thing moving here really is your head, your cervical spine as well. Inhale, chin raises, head drops back. Exhale, drop chin to chest. A couple more times of that. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Two more times, your breath. And then on your second time through, go ahead and pause with your chin down to chest. Go ahead and drop your right shoulder to your right ear. And just pause there. Feel this energy, maybe that was locked up on your left side, really begin to flow as one. And from here, go ahead and bring your right arm above your head. Then gently drop your hand to your left ear. Guide your elbow back a little bit so you can really feel a stronger sense of opening through your left side. And then just use your right hand to kind of guide your ear down a little bit more to your right shoulder. And still stay nice and grounded, stable through both sides, even though we're really targeting our left neck right now. And just deepen your breathing. Notice your feet, your sits bones, your hips. Allow everything to be stable and grounded. And then from here, keep your neck leaning the way it is. Go ahead and raise your right arm overhead. Take some circles of your wrist, and then scrunch up your hand, and then open it just a couple times like that. Circles, tighten, open. I'm feeling some cracks. I don't know about you.
I'm hearing my cracks. I'm hoping
I'm
they're
cracking
not.
everywhere. And then go ahead and drop your right arm to your side. Stay leaned on your right side. And we're going to draw a couple circles. Chin to chest. Drop left ear to left shoulder. Raise your chin up. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Chin to chest. Left ear, left shoulder. A couple more nice neck circles. And then next time your left ear is dropped to your left shoulder, go ahead and stop right there. And just breathe here for a moment. Notice any differences off the bat between your sides and hold space for whatever this side has, even if it is very different. And then go ahead and inhale to raise your left arm overhead. And then let your left hand rest on your right ear. See if you can draw your left elbow back a little more so you can further lean down and open through your right side. Lengthen your inhales and exhales so that you can further guide that ear down to shoulder and find more opening across your right side body. Still just as grounded through both sits bones, through both feet, both hips. Really just targeting this upper spine area. And then keep your neck the way it is. Raise your left arm overhead. Take some circles of your wrist, one way, the other way. Scrunch up your fist, open up your fingers. And then lower your left arm to your side. We'll draw a couple more circles with our spine. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, right your right shoulder. Drop your head back, lift your chin. Exhale, left your left shoulder. And continue with your circles. And go ahead and switch up directions after a couple times. So switch it up, go the other way. And then go ahead and bring your spine, your neck back up to neutral position. Take a deep breath in through your nose, raise your shoulders up. Exhale, relax. Good job.
I'm so lucky. I have three beautiful daughters. You probably haven't heard too much about my son. I've explained I have four kids. One big blessing is they all love fitness. They probably had no choice, seriously, because my husband and I work out. They've been raised in gyms. Quite honestly, they all played sports. She's also very into music, and
And
art.
art.
And she's not a knitter yet, but share some of the crafty things you do like to do.
So when I was young, I was really interested in fashion design. That was like the thing I wanted to do when I was a kid. So mom signed me up for like crochet classes at Joann's and sewing classes. So I learned how to crochet and sew when I was really little. And that actually served me really well because now I can like fix little things on shirts and pants without like having to pay for it. My crochet practice really was big when I was a kid, and I kind of dropped off of that as I got older. But I know how to crochet, so if I could probably pick it back up again pretty easily if I just if I have a pattern. She wants me to make one of those. I think that's a little ambitious for me.
I really think you could do it. It's two stitches, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I was really into that. And then when I got to like middle school and high school, I started taking photography class at school. And as I got older, photography was definitely a big art form that stuck for me. I would do just photo shoots with my friends, and eventually people like paid me. I've done like tons of graduation shoots. I've taken people's headshots. And in college, I actually minored in studio art, where I had two concentrations. One was film photography, and then the other was printmaking. Printmaking, I just kind of got into in college. I heard about the art form. I love prints, and so when I go to art museums, I always kind of am drawn towards like the woodcut and the screen prints. Andy Warhol, I was always into that. So as I got older in college, I focused on film photography and then printmaking. In my film labs, I learned how to operate 35 millimeter cameras and then 45 millimeter cameras, which 45 millimeter cameras are like the really big ones that people used back in the olden days, and it takes forever to develop. But I learned how to develop the film myself and then print onto photo paper in an actual darkroom. So very nice skills. It taught me patience. It taught me how to trust the process, but it also taught me that a lot of times you have to iterate in order to get the product you want, and that takes a lot of patience. I know that with knitting, you have to iterate all the time. Like mom literally had to take out like several rows this morning of her sock and she was frustrated, but you'd rather be happy with the product that you have at the end rather than, not being happy and having done all this work. So film definitely taught me patience. But so did printmaking. Printmaking is an art form that's so diverse. There's so many different types of printmaking methods, but my favorite ones are screen printing, which is probably what everyone's familiar with. Screen printing is how people print onto t-shirts. And they've really scaled printmaking, like screen printing, into like you can do it in factories. You don't need a person to do it. But there's definitely a nice touch when a person screen prints a shirt for you, for sure. So screen printing I learned how to do, and then I learned a method called lithography, which is a super technical printmaking method. It takes hours to prep your plate, and you use like a metal, like aluminum or metal plate. And it's very techy. I won't get super into it, but let's just say it's a very time-consuming method. And then I also learned how to carve into wood and carve into lino blocks. So if you ever think about stamps, that's stamp making is very similar to what I do. So I would take a block of lino or a block of wood, and I would usually make my design ahead of time, usually on my iPad. I draw it on my iPad. I would then transfer my design, I'd print it and then transfer it onto the block, and then I would carve everything out. So that was another one that was like trust the process, but I really liked the process of it. I never really got like mad or frustrated because I had control the whole time. Like I just had to be patient with the carving and take my time. But I would say woodcut and lino are my two favorite methods. And then you can reuse them. So if you want to print multiple editions, you can make as many as you want because you have this thing that you carved. You can keep it forever. So I've done quite a lot of prints. And one thing I loved in my studios, we would become friends with each other because we'd have a project and then we'd do critiques on it. And my classmates and I would give each other like pointers. And then at the end of the semester, we'd do a big print exchange. So I would get like 20 of my classmates' prints, and then I would disperse mine as well. So in my bedroom in Tampa, I have all these prints from like amazing artists that, I didn't have to pay for. And if you think about like how much money you could make from printmaking, it's a lot because it takes hours. So these prints are worth like 50 to anywhere from 50 to 100 depending on who you're talking to dollars per print, but I got them all for free. So that was really cool that I get to support all these artists and have their art hanging in my rooms, but also my own. I've made so many prints and I have so many in my archives now. So printmaking, film photography, and then she got me a kit last year. It was like a felt art kit, and I really liked it because it's kind of similar to printmaking in some ways, except you're using felts and you kind of poke the felt into the design. But I really liked it. So I do love art. I've loved it. I've gravitated towards it since I was a kid. I've always liked projects and crafts. But now it's a bit harder to make time for it. I really have to make the time. I can't really find the time to do it. But in Tampa, I found a group of people who do printmaking, and so we do work. This shop I go to, they have like workshops. So I've learned how to use Riso printers. And I've learned how to make zines, which is a whole new world I wasn't really familiar with. So I'm growing my skills little by little, and it's really helpful that I have a mom who also is really into art, and we can like talk about it, share ideas and whatnot.
So what I'd love for you to just answer is with all those different art forms, because that's a lot of different things. Do you get what we get out of it with knitting and crocheting, like a stress reliever? Does it help with stress? For me, having something to keep my hands busy, like last night. Now I screwed up on my sock last night because wine was involved. We had our friends and neighbors over and we were giggling and drinking wine, watching the Santa Claus movie. And I started doing my toe and I decreased on one side, but not both sides of the stitch markers, which I've done that before. So that's what I had to tear back this morning. But my point is the art of knitting and crocheting really helps manage stress. And I believe that you get that from most crafting art
Mhm.
outlets. Do you feel the same way?
I do. You have like in order to have a good product with film or with printmaking, you have to like be focused on the thing itself. If you're thinking about other things, it will affect your output. So my when I go into a shop or a dark room or whatever it is, I am able to kind of turn off whatever's happening out there and channel like not think about it, but channel the energy I'm struggling with into my art. It's kind of helpful. It's not a distraction. I'd say it's more of a channel. I'm able to channel my whatever I'm thinking about outside of that room and then put that into what I'm doing while not thinking about it. So it's kind of really a mindful activity. And it really does help to kind of get out any of that
Mhm.
crap that
Yeah.
was affecting my day
And
and
yoga
then
does the
turn
same
it,
thing.
yeah, and then like turn those feelings into something good
Mhm.
uh by making art. So
Yeah. And so most of you that are watching this do knit, but for those of you that don't, knitting or any of the art topics that Jenna talked about and brought up could be ways to help you manage your stress. And certainly physical fitness is another one. My son did a Olympic triathlon this morning. Her and I have been walking. We've done what, two very cold walks. She's used to Florida and we had to bundle up and it was still freezing. We came home and we had to go right to the showers
mhm.
because it got really cold here. But we've also sat in front of fires and we've done a nice variety of
Yeah.
things. But I think fitness is important, and I think having some type of a stress relief is very important, as well as fueling yourself and drinking and hydrating yourself and getting that sleep. So all of those things combined make a healthy knitter or whatever else your art form is. But anything else you want to share before we wrap up for the day?
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Yeah.
I Do you think that knitting helps you to be more mindful? Because I know we talked about does knitting helping with stress, but do you feel like the skills you hone in on with your knitting, like patience, technicality, do you think that helps you with your mindfulness and your like how you how you're mindful day to day?
Yeah, good question. She's turning the camera on me. Yes, because I get easily distracted. That's my personality, like all over the place. And I've learned that if I don't really read the patterns, I've joked about it on this podcast before, I make mistakes. And so it's really helped me be more mindful. And I do catch mistakes quicker than I used to. I used to do a whole project. You heard about me crocheting socks years ago where one toe went one way and the other toe went the other way. So it's made me more mindful to read the directions, to trust the process. So that part of it, and it's helped me with focus because when I'm working on this, I'm focusing on it, and I know which patterns I can do with people. Like last night I was trying to decrease stitches. I should know better. I can only knit without any increasing or decreasing when I'm with people or I make mistakes. So last night kind of taught me don't do that again because I've made multiple mistakes and that's usually when it happens. So yes, I would say so. I would say it's really helped me be more mindful, less stressed. I've definitely gotten better with my skills, for sure. I mean, some of the things that I've been making lately, like I look back at some older things I've made and I'm like, oh, I mean, they were good, but I mean, they're just getting better and better. So like when Jenna put that on, I'm like, gosh, that looks so good on you. It looks almost, store bought. So I think my skills are getting better. So long answer, but yes.
She's knitted me so many things over the years. Like I have so many different scarves, hats. I don't have the bags you made me anymore, I don't think, because I was little. They might be somewhere.
Uh,
I don't
I
have them with me. Uh, so it's I think just so cool how you can take this thing. Like I love the forms of art I talked about, but I feel like the knitting and crocheting really is like that is a special gift you can give someone that like they can wear forever or have forever, think about forever. And not that prints and film aren't that way, but like I feel like knitting and crocheting really is a very personal form of art, and it's just really cool. I did learn how to knit 2 years ago, and it really didn't stick. So if you have any tips on how to like make it stick, I'd love to hear your tips in the comments because my older sister taught me how to knit, Katie, and she loves it. And she said that that happened to her her first time too. She like it didn't stick with her, and she kind of gave up on it. But then she went back like a couple years later, and then she's been obsessed ever since. So I'd love to know like what made it stick for you guys. Was it like buying a kit? Was it buying a specific thing that you wanted to learn? Because I don't really have a super big desire to knit a scarf or a hat. And I know that's two of the easiest things to start with, but I live in Florida, so like I'm just like not I don't think I'm gonna do that. So let me know if you have any tips because I would love to get into knitting and I think that I could be really good at it, but I just like I'm really discouraged because the first time it just didn't light a fire in me like I thought it would. So
Yeah, and my answer to that is we just need to find a fun project for her. Like She probably doesn't realize you can do tank tops and short
Oh,
sleeve
I know.
sweaters and all these gorgeous things. And have you seen the crocheted tops that have become popular
Yes,
now?
I want to
So
make one. It scares me.
yeah, we just need an easier pattern first time out, like a simple raglan sweater. We could find a simple raglan short sleeve t-shirt or something. But I think if we find her an easier pattern, I like kits because with everything there in the kit, it's almost like you have to finish the project.
Hmm.
Where if you just have yarn and needles for a scarf, if you don't finish it, no big deal. But if you have a kit, you kind of feel like I got to finish that. So yeah, give your tips, guys, because she could hear me say it, but if you say it, she'll listen. Oh, well, thank you for being here with us, Jenna.
Happy to be here.
We'll have to get Maddie on a podcast too. She also does yoga. She's not certified to teach it, but she about killed me in Chicago a week ago, taking me to core power yoga classes. Have you taken that? So it's hot yoga and like over 100-degree rooms, but also using weights. It's almost like Pilates exercises with weights in a heated yoga studio. That's the best way I can explain it. Killer workout. I was sore for days. I loved it. That's weird, I know, but I loved it. But my two other daughters teach yoga, and Tyler likes yoga too. So whenever we're all together, we all do yoga together. And he probably needs yoga after his triathlon today. So he'll probably do that this week. But thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, give Jenna a comment. My husband is still upset that he didn't get very many comments. So if you would go back to the Icelandic video where both of us are on that and he's wearing a sweater and talking about Iceland and give him some love, he would really appreciate that because he thinks he's not invited to come back and we need to get him back for another episode. He's so good to let me knit in the car. He drives everywhere so I can knit while he drives, and it's great. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you, my dear,
Thank
for helping
you.
everyone with neck and shoulder help because I was cracking all over the place. I don't know if you could hear it, but
Yeah.
I don't do that enough. So thank you. All right. Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone.
Bye-bye.